Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Winner Circle Sports Betting podcast. It's the Football Friday Live. Sean Higgs, Matt Fargo, maybe an appearance from Marc Lawrence. Who knows? If he's running late. It happens. Uh-oh, I got an echo because I got the YouTube on. I'm like, who's this voice coming from? I was looking down. I thought all of a sudden, Jim, did you hear it come in or no? You didn't hear it?
No.
Oh, yeah, just the YouTube came screaming on because I made a little link here. Boom. I'm going to tweet it out on my Twitter. There we go. For my Twitter followers. I said I was doing my show. I said I'll be doing live in a half hour. Come tune in. I'll tweet it out. So we're in Tweetville. We're in Tweetville. Listen, like, share, subscribe. You're tuning in. Hit the like button, notification bell on. Football Friday Live. Daily free pick videos 7 days a week. I'm here during the week. Chip Trimbus and the Vegas Legends take over the airwaves or the video waves Saturday, Sunday with free pick action. So be sure to get the free picks here on the Winner Circle YouTube channel. Do not miss out. And again, free picks are the free picks. Top plays, best bets, all the goody gumdrop stuff. Head over to our sponsor site, gamblersworld.net. And you see it right on the top of the board there. Weekend special, 50% off the day pass. $69.99, half price. I'm guessing that'll be like 34 and change, right? Because if it was $70, it'd be 35, but it's $69.99, so it'll be under. Can't beat it. And day pass for me, you're going to get a dozen college football games. I don't know.
That's it.
Well, you're going to get what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There's 20 games, but you can't get Vanderbilt to 13 and a half, so you're not going to play that one. You're not going to do Old Dominion minus 17 because that's 21 and a half now. So some of them are moved. You probably won't play those. Totals, some move the point or so. That's kind of up to you. I put the packages up, though. What about you? You said you're going to have a big college football weekend. What do you got in store for the weekend?
Yeah, I have 2 games tonight. I have 8 tomorrow. I was going to have 9, but I threw out I threw out Florida. I want to take Florida. I couldn't do it. So I have 8 NFL. I have 5 games on Sunday. So 15 games from today through Sunday. Yeah, give me a big weekend.
So not that saying it was a wise choice because I'm number 2 in college football money, 47.35. But I do have Miami on the site. I do have Miami minus the I think 4. I took Miami there minus 4.5. So.
Oh no, I was talking about Texas, Florida.
Oh, Florida. Oh, I'm thinking Florida State. Well, whatever. Yeah, there we go. Well, you just got a freemium, because I can't differentiate between Florida State.
I know, right? And the rotation numbers are back to back.
I had 2 Floridas, Miami, Florida, and Florida State playing in the same game. I was, you know what though? I'm kind of with you on that Gator game. I sort of kind of like that, like the under as well in that one.
Yeah, I mean the line just kept coming down. It's down to what is it down to? It's down to 5.5 most places right now. So it was when I printed this out on Monday. It was 6.5 on Monday. So yeah, it's come down a ton. People are backing Lagway apparently, or
4.5 now.
Or fading Arch. Yes, 4.5 in some places too.
And that's the thing. We'll talk about. We'll just jump right into Scottsdale Bear with Texas and Florida out of the gate. Actually, I see a 5.5 now over here at MGM, but basically 4.5 everywhere. This is a spot, right? Is Arch Manning for real? He had a bad outing versus Ohio State. He makes a play, they win, right? So Ohio State did have a nice win. He snapped a 30-game win streak, so that's pretty impressive in Washington. But you could have lost to Arch Manning, who hasn't looked all that great. This is a big game for him, I think. He needs to kind of show that he's SEC ready and not just I have a nice last name and I'm worse than Eli.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's coming off a great game against Sam Houston in their last game, right? The same Sam Houston.
I just saw Sam Houston lose 37-10 last night. I had the under, and they scored 10 points.
They got boat race last night by New Mexico State. So, yeah, that was an impressive win, Arch. No, he's struggling. He's all the fanfare. Comes in as a Heisman favorite. I think he's done like 35-1 now. Is that I heard something like that? Something crazy.
I think I got a 12-1 early, like in August. I'm like, I'll throw something on him if he wins. And it was just basically if he won in Ohio State, it would drop to like 2-1.
Right.
Which is why I just kind of took it to take it. And I usually never do Heisman kind of stuff, but that was one I thought, all right, he wins that game, he's off and running. He's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, sure. This is Napier's job. Job is on the line probably Saturday. If they lose, I think he's gone.
Yeah,
I think.
for sure.
For
sure here.
1-3 right now. Oof.
We touched on last night because we talked about Sam Houston. Rams and the Niners open to 3.5, goes up to 10. A lot of people out. We talked about it. We were talking about it on Tuesday because we said, hey, let's take San Francisco here in the 5.5 because we didn't think there was much difference between Mac Jones and Brock Purdy, right? We're like 5.5. I'll take the Rams. And we did take the Rams, and that was a win for us with San Fran plus 5.5. So another free pick winner in our pocket there. We'll take it. The movement where it went, it sort of made sense. You lose 2 skill position players. You're starting quarterback. It's a short week. The public's going to be all over crap like that. Like, look at this. Oh, my goodness. I wish I came in more when it was at 10. I didn't cast. I was like, you know what? I am where I am. I had the under as well, which I thought was the spot-on right play, even with the 5.5. What do you say about McVay? The play calling at the end now, nearly missed a field goal, 4th down. You run even at the end of the game. You made a lot of weird things there. You had a blocked extra point. Then at the end of the game, because you went down and scored, the game was tied. It was back to basics. You had them on a rope. I can't believe the amount of San Fran fans in that joint. Number one, and on 4th, you're running the ball. You were tearing it up with. They couldn't stop Adams.
Right.
Or I was like, what the? Every time I looked up, it was those things. And you know what? Real fast, and I'll get back to you. We did some props on Tuesday too. Me and Kevin Thomas. We talked about Tong anytime touchdown. It's a nice winner there. Kyrie Williams, he's a receiving yards, easy winner there. I said Tutu Atwell, 9.5 receiving yards. I said he's got one pass for 80, the other one for like 3. He caught like another like 50-yarder. A couple big bombs there he caught. How do you? Again, if you can't get a yard, I don't think you should be winning games anyway.
Right.
Why aren't you throwing the ball? Like that should have been went to overtime. That should have been a 24-20 final if you hit the extra point. And at the end of the game, kicking a field goal, you had shots in the end zone, but you want to run the ball. What are you doing, McVay?
Yeah, it can be considered suspect for sure. I mean, I used San Fran as a premium. When I posted it, it was 6.5, and that was before the Pearsall and Johnson news came out that they were not going to play. And then, I mean, the line shot up like crazy, and everyone and their mother were on the Rams. Like, oh, there's no way San Fran can compete here. No, it's the NFL. Guess what? Other players step up. So, and like we talked about, Mac Jones, man, he played really good. He's Shanahan, man. Like he can do this. He did it with Purdy. He did it with Garoppolo. I
mean, Mac Jones was a capable quarterback his rookie year, and then they brought in a special teams coach and a defensive coordinator, and then they shipped him out of town.
Yep.
Why are we shocked that the guy performed with a real NFL head coach, and he has a good running back behind him? Borderline kind of Hall of Fame guy if he's a healthy kind of cat. Don't be shocked.
Exactly.
Don't be shocked.
Yeah, he was with Doug Peterson last year in Jacksonville. I mean, he's not a quarterback coach. He's a defensive guy, and he struggled there. He's got the right coach now. He's going to be like when Baker Mayfield went to LA for that 3-game stretch a few years ago.
For a 98-yard drive in preseason.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he got picked up. People saw it, what he could do, what he's capable of. And I think it's going to happen with Mac Jones. I think he's going to be a starter somewhere next year for sure.
Should be a starter. I think he got a raw deal in New England.
Yeah.
Let's get some comments here. So John's in the chat. Let's turn the page to September. Let's rock October. I thought he was going to say Red October or Locktober, as he called it. He says he's pulling for the Blue Jays. Let's talk some MLB. So Yanks take care of Boston. Cubbies win. Tigers going to Cleveland, take 2 out of 3. They move on. I do not like the fact that a wild card 3-game series, a team does not get a home game if it goes 3.
Right.
If you want to say, well, the other team's better, they should get the home games. Well, let's go back to the old days where it was 1 game then. Do a 1-game playoff. If the wild card team isn't worthy of 1 game out of 3, then they play 1, and if they knock out the team with the better record, so be it. I think it's totally unfair. And again, Yanks Red Sox are going to sell out anyway, whether it's April, August, October. Those fans are coming to watch that game. It'll be people watching anyway. We hate the Yankees. We're watching. We love the Yankees. We're watching. Padres, Reds fans, I mean, you want to show up. You're telling me nobody showed up in Detroit yesterday for a playoff deciding game? I'm sure people would have showed up at lunchtime to see that game. How don't you give a game to a team? Makes 0 sense to me.
I agree. I couldn't agree more with that. I think it's unfair. I think Boston deserved at least 1 home game. I mean, how many games back did they finish behind New York? It wasn't many.
Doesn't make a difference.
And they should get a home game. If you want to do 2-1 or 1-2, whatever the case may be. If you make the playoffs, you deserve a home game.
Especially when you're playing 3, you're
right. Exactly.
You should be able to get 1 at home if it goes that long.
Yeah, Boston finished 4 games behind New York. I mean, it was close. So I mean,
well, they took the season series from them, so it's not like they were a bad team.
Right. Yeah.
I'm saying, okay, you want to give that the home, you want to give the team with the better record home field, so they get 2 at home. Finish them off like the Dodgers did. Finish them off, and it's no problem.
Right.
If the other team steals a game and you lose in 3, well, you had 3. You just had to win 2. You couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. Home field didn't help you, so now you're up against it. And again, would it have changed the outcome in the Yankee game? I don't know. Would it change the outcome in the Detroit game? I don't know. Detroit, maybe they lose at home. You don't know. The Padres, same thing. You don't know how games would have played out, but I think it's totally wrong that you're not getting a home game and there's 3 of them.
Right.
Or when did they go? When did they switch that? I don't remember them switching that. A couple years ago.
Yeah, they switched it. They switched it in 22. I want to say maybe I don't know, like 3 or 4 years ago. But maybe they don't want to extend the season. Have the first round be 5 games and do 2-1-2 or 2-2-1 or whatever the case may be. 2-2-1. So both teams are guaranteed at least 1 home game.
No, you can't, because then we're playing into freaking November, because then the
next round. Are we doing that already?
Well, again, you keep extending. Why are we extending the playoffs every single? I mean, they're not. It's not like we got to give our starter rest because your starter goes 5 innings. I mean, short of Skubal, Crochet. I mean, listen, Fried, Rodon guys are going to go deep in games. Maybe Gassman. Not a lot of guys are going 7 innings.
No.
Maybe some of the Mariners cats. So extending the series is just making boring baseball because the bullpen's ready to go. I used 3 bullpen guys on Monday. We were off Tuesday. They're all ready to go again on Wednesday. My top guy. I mean,
you're right. Like most teams right now don't have 3, Class A starters. You're right. So once you get past, like for the Yankees, once you get past, Fried and what's his name? Rodon. And you got. I mean, Cam pitched great last night. Like, what do you have? Like 11 strikeouts or something silly?
Yeah.
But most teams don't have that. And you're right. It could make the back end of these series kind of boring. You're right. But I just think there's got to be a way to do it where each team is guaranteed at least 1 home playoff game. I don't know.
All right, football Friday, but we had to touch on some baseball playoffs that kick off tomorrow. Your divisional round now. And then, again, that's a nice extended series. And then we'll get the DSs and then the World Series. And it's going to be Thanksgiving. You'll be eating turkey watching Game 6. Some bullpen guys coming in. Weekend special, 50% off the day pass. Great on the Saturday college football, Major League Baseball playoffs. You'd want to get on board for half price Saturday or Sunday for that matter. More baseball and more NFL for you. Use the half price special here at gamblersworld.net. Gavin's coming. Cowboys 2.5 versus Jets. How do you guys feel about that game? I think this will look exactly like the Cowboy-Bears game. I mean, that's exactly what I see in this one. Hopefully it goes over. I lost that over by like a point. I'm so annoyed over that. I would lean over total style on this one before I get to the Cowboys window. Because, again, I know CeeDee Lamb went out. Still, it's a desperate Jet team, 0-4, right? The Jets, winless?
Yep, 0-4. Yep.
Could very well almost have 3 wins. They could be 3-1. You know, but
yep. I think it's a great spot for the Jets. I really do. I think it's a horrible spot for Dallas coming off what they think was a win. That was a win in their book. You know, that tie, that they feel like they won it. And you said, just like you said about the Chicago game, you know, they're coming off back and forth against the Giants of all teams, and they go to Chicago and lay an egg. So yeah, that's a great spot for you.
I feel like exactly the same spot. I'm haven't pulled the trigger on the Jets. I like them.
Mm-hmm.
I got Kevin Thomas says he's reposted the stream for us, our guy.
Kevin.
Tongs got it done. Your Blake Corum under rushing yards got it in 27.5. Might have been worried because the guy's first rush went to 13 yards. I'm like, oh boy, look at this. This guy's gonna bust open 1 yard. You know, one rush for 13 totally screws up a prop. But he cashed that. He cashed to Kyrie Williams. We both like Tongs. The Tutu Atwell got there. If we said Puka and Devontae Adams were both like kind of eating money for touchdowns, but you know, nice prop day Tuesday. Tune in Tuesdays for me and Matt doing Thursday night football, and Kevin Thomas and I with some props on for Thursday night action. Let's where do you a couple lower key games tonight, but Saturday NFL in December is coming up. We got to talk about that, but let's talk about Saturday college football here early. I want to throw up Air Force and Navy just based on this total, 52.5, right? Everybody blindly goes to these, you got to do academy unders, and they had been in the 40s, and then they dropped to like 32s because of the way things have gone. And it looks like it's getting back to the teens kind of years where most of the totals were in the mid 40s and 50s with these guys because they know each other. Yeah, they know each other, but you know what? They weren't stopping anybody and they're just running all over the place, even though they all ran the same offense. 52.5. 52.5. Oh, hold on. Special guest. Look who it is.
Knock, knock.
Hello. What's up, Mark?
Hey, man. How you doing, man?
How you doing?
I'm doing real good. And yourself?
Awesome. Thank you. Awesome.
Cool.
Marc Lawrence comes in. Nice. He's got a jacket on. He makes it look at Matt Fargo look like a homeless guy. Matt's a skin. He's got a nice little high school swim shirt on. And Mark comes in like the Undertaker. Look at him in here. It's slick back. He's like Pat Riley with the hair back. He's ready to come in here and rock.
All that matters is how many winners we've got, guys.
There you go. It's funny you talk about that total. Like the last 4 meetings, 37.5, 34, 37.5, 39.5. And now it's what? 52. Air Force has no defense, man.
I had Air Force against Hawaii.
You had last week against Hawaii, right?
Yeah. I thought, you know what? Good spot for Air Force. They've played like crap. Hawaii to the mainland. You should win. Nope. Hawaii. How the heck, Mark? You got to have this somewhere in your book. When's the last time Hawaii comes to the mainland and forget about outplaying a team. When do they out-time a service academy?
When you say out-time.
Time of possession.
What do you mean? Oh, for time of possession?
Hawaii doubled up their possession at Air Force.
Because the service academy that they're playing is lousy, okay? This is not the Air Force guys that we knew. For 4 years in a row, they were a top 10 defense.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happened to this defense. It's gone on hiatus. They took a military hiatus, and they're nowhere to be seen anymore. This is not Air Force that we've known before in the past.
Yeah, I mean, Hawaii ran 78 plays. Air Force ran 47. Air Force gained 10.5 yards per play. You don't lose games getting 10.5 yards per play normally. That's crazy.
That's a wild stat. Yes, it is.
So a couple interesting games here. I want to look at that. I brought that one on Mark just because it was just the total, and everybody wants to run and take unders and that kind of thing. Clemson, North Carolina. But Dabo and Belichick going at it. 14.5-point total. North Carolina, when they played, a decent team, kind of got run out of the building. Clemson offense, everybody was kind of high on Cade Klubnik or whoever.
Klubnik.
14 points. I want to lay 14 with Clemson here. I mean, who's leaving first? Is Belichick going to leave North Carolina first, or is Dabo going to be like, I'm done with this no crap. I'm hanging up after the season? What coach goes first, and what side do you like?
Well, I think Belichick's under a lot more heat right now, and he may just end up getting married, falling in love, and getting married and walking away from the program. Here's a question I got to ask you guys. The Charlotte 49ers, what do they have in common with North Carolina this year?
They're terrible. They're both in North Carolina?
No, they're the only team in the first and only team Bill Belichick has beat as a college football head coach. Just pathetic. Just pathetic.
20-3, by the way, in that game. They barely covered. You might have got a push if you had Charlotte at an early number.
Just pathetic. I don't think there's any handicapping North Carolina until they show some form of semblance of putting a team on the field that looks like they're going to be competitive. And it doesn't seem to be bothering Bill Belichick. That's what worries me.
Yeah, exactly. They played a schedule ranked 104th in the country, and that's based on all FBS and FCS teams. So it's pretty low, and they're still close to dead last in passing offense. They're number 114 in EPA on offense. They're not good. They're not good.
How they went from Mac Brown, who was 72, to a 73-year-old Bill Belichick. These kids are like, who the heck are you, bro? Like, I mean, you won when? These guys weren't even born when he was winning the Super Bowl back in 2005. Do they even know who he is? I mean, honestly. What was North Carolina thinking?
Well, they made all these big plans. They went out and hired a general manager to go out and basically become a minor league program for a National Football League teams. That's where college football is headed these days. And, now they've been given the green light to go out and buy all these players. So you're going to find a time, I think, Matt, here sooner than later, that not only is this money coming from the NIL, from their boosters, it's also going to come from the National Football League. They're going to end up adopting some of these teams as their minor affiliates to be able to cultivate these college football players that they want their hands in on. So sooner or later, it's going to be a developmental league. College football is for the NFL.
Well,
I think Dabo, you brought up a good point about Dabo. If he's going to stay or going to go, I think he'll stay, but he's got to change. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, that he has to change the way he goes about the program. I mean, he has to start using the NIL, and he hasn't done it yet. And I think he's going to be forced to. I mean, I think this is a good spot for Clemson this week. Coming off their bye, this is the get right game. I mean, if they run the table, they'll make the playoff. As bad as they are right now, which is bad. But
did you see the article where the Big Ten is going to be involved with an investment firm where they could buy in, like they're going to sell off profits of their teams or something? Did you see this, Mark?
Yes, I did. Big business now, Sean. It's all big business.
How the heck? I mean, how is this working out for casinos that did that? Like, hey, you're going to give us X amount of dollars. That's great. And then all of a sudden, some hedge fund owns you or some private equity group. How is that going to transform the college landscape?
And what happens when DraftKings or FanDuel owns you, and you're a college football team competing out there? They're taking bets on a property that they own. What does that say about the legitimacy of college football and where it's gone and where it's at right now? It's sort of mind-boggling.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Let's, me and Matt were kind of talking a little earlier about Texas, Florida. We didn't come in on any kind of play on it yet because we're kind of torn on it. I did say I do like the under 42. I'm going to use the under 42.5 here in the show. Any thoughts on that game? I'm trying to find a good matchups. Not many sexy matchups this weekend.
No, there aren't. Compared to last week. Last week had such a great slate. It ended up being great. I think there were 50 I think there were 50 or 51 FBS versus FBF games. 25 of them finished one possession finals. That's awesome. That's awesome football. And you
Yes,
look at
it
the
is.
line, looking at the lines this week about these games. Most of them are more than double digits. Most of these lines are. It's just not. It's not a good. No, it's not a good weekend.
Well, this is a tough game for me, this Texas-Florida game, guys. Where it opened and where it's at right now, there's been a big move here to Florida. I don't know if it's because of the pedigree of Florida, being in the swamp as a dog, where they've done pretty well. I think they've cashed 4 in a row at home in that particular role. And Billy Napier himself has kind of stepped up in games when his teams have had losing records, which is where they're sitting right now. The 5 times he's done that, he's 5-0 straight up and 4-0-1 to the number. So there's some things working for Florida in this football game here. But I just have this feeling, this gut feeling, that you're going to see Texas playing in the championship game in the college football playoff this year. Everybody's going to forget that they were the number 1 ranked preseason team. Arch Manning looked horrible, and this football team has fallen off the map. But they may just well win out and be a football team that to be reckoned with here. There's so much talent on this team. And here's the other thing that I learned about them. I don't know if you're aware of this, Matt, but we all know about Texas Tech and how much money they spent on these players to buy this roster. And, they've got a roster extraordinaire there. The only other team that spent more money than Texas Tech was Texas, this football program here. So there's a lot of talent on this team. For certain there is. But I just don't like the way this number went. It completely lost all its value to me.
Yeah, I agree. We were Mark before you hop in. We were talking about it that I wanted to take Florida this weekend, but the line move kept me off. Like, why are people backing Lagway, who has played horrible? Is it more of a fate of Arch Manning? I think it's got to be.
And it was also my thought here that. I think there's an ideal time to buy Arch Manning in the Heisman Trophy race. If for no other reason, he was not the odds-on favorite. He was the favorite to begin the season. He's fallen out of grace. If they do run the table, win the SEC, make it to the college football playoffs, he's going to be a favorite again here, Arch Manning is. And right now it's all about value. You can get him at 25-1 as opposed to 5-1 to begin the football season. There's a ton of value there that way.
And it's funny you bring that up, Mark, I said to Matt, I said, I grabbed him in August. I was like, it was like 12-1 or something. I said, if he beats Ohio State, it's going to drop to like 3-1. And I really don't do a lot of Heisman stuff. He played like crap. They didn't win. But who's really separating great, crazy numbers? There's a lot of decent teams. You don't know who's good. And as you mentioned, he's an SEC quarterback. He runs the table. He gets to their championship game. He's going to go right to the top of the boards because of the name and SEC attached to it.
Unquestionably, that and the quarterbacks that were supposed to be good. This is supposed to be a dynamite quarterback class in the National Football League draft, but nobody, as you mentioned, Sean, is stepping up and running with that particular moniker. Look at the quarterbacks. Nussmeier from LSU, he's having a rotten season. Cade Klubnik from Clemson, terrible season here. Who is going to step up and carry the mantle here right now?
Penn State, Drew Allaire.
Who's that?
Allaire over at Penn State.
Yeah, but I mean, how did he look against Oregon? I mean, if he wins the football game, I guess he's at the top of the list. But he's from my hometown in Cleveland here, and I'm all for him and want to see him do well and everything. But I don't think he's really progressed to the level that they expected of him. And, Penn State's got that knock. They can't beat big teams. And if they don't beat big teams, they might not even make the playoffs, if they choke their ass off along the way here. And James Franco might be
watching. I'm trying to remember who it was. I was watching some other podcast, and they're talking about the quarterback play. And maybe it was one of the guys in New Mexico who was throwing the ball or who was just terrible. Who threw the 2 pick sixes for them for New Mexico. New Mexico played Louisiana Tech, and the guy threw like 2 pick sixes in the fourth quarter, just looked terrible. And he was like a 5-star recruit, and somebody was like, most of these guys, and he mentioned the whole crew. I'm pretty sure it was like Allaire was in it. Even Arch Manning was brought up. Like that recruiting class was like the COVID class, right? They were. Yep. You couldn't go to games. It was just kind of film tape on guys and what you kind of saw on guys, and you're way off on some guys, and some guys really good. He had no idea he's good. He fell into his system, and he's doing well. I thought it was
Look
an
at this
interesting
Penn State schedule, guys. Moving forward here, they don't have hardly anything close to gimmies. They're going to be going to Iowa, which is never an easy win. You never know what can happen in Ames. After that, they go to Ohio State. Well, they'll be lucky to get out with their hides in hand. After that, they're going to host Indiana, who just might end up being in the pick'em range against Penn State if Indiana continues to keep playing as well as they are. So they've got a real tough road to hoe here, does Penn State, and there's no gravy train at all right now for the Lions.
Right.
Someone was trying to someone's telling me on Penn State, like, well, he's bad with his record versus these teams, ranked team, but he's never favored. So you kind of gotta. It's not his fault he loses. I'm like, fella, what? I mean, I've seen teams upset. I've seen guys get upset. You could pull an upset. You're a ranked team. It's not like you're Toledo coming in to play Michigan or Appalachian State in a 47-yard field goal at Michigan to win an upset. You are a top 15 team all the time.
If he's 500 against top 10 opponents, that's fine. He's 4-21. Jeez,
I mean, really. It's you recruit pretty good, right? The Penn State's a decent recruiting program. That's not like they're a bottom 50 team.
I think I read somewhere this week, guys, where they stretched it out to his record against top 6 teams as opposed to top 5 teams, and he's god awful. He's like 3-22 against top 6 ranked teams. So that weighs on him obviously very heavily, and I just think the pressure and the schedule coming up here is not going to bode well for Penn State.
Where was he before Penn State?
It was at Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt, that's right. So how many of those losses were when he was with Vandy? I don't know the breakdown, actually.
Probably, I'm going to say at least half of them for sure.
Probably, I would think,
But he's still going up against this high caliber opposition at Penn State, being in the Big Ten and taking on a lot of a quality Big Ten type team. Yeah. So,
I mean, I'm not saying Ohio State and Michigan were Georgia and Alabama, but where Penn State is, it's kind of not that they're obviously a higher step up than Vanderbilt, but those two teams are always going to have the best players in the conference, probably. Well, maybe Oregon, maybe now taking over, but early Penn State before the alignment change, there was that. All right, you're watching our Football Friday Live. Matt Fargo, Marc Lawrence. We're a little halfway in here. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Be sure to check out all of our premium content at Gamblers World. Half off sale this weekend for a day pass. Great day to get on board one of those because baseball playoffs, big college football schedule. Same thing on NFL Sunday. Playoffs, football, get everything. Half price all day pass. Make the smart money move. Get on board today. Do it. Again, I'm looking over to college football. Do you have anything sticking out that you really want to talk about? Because I like a lot of games, but there's nothing. Hey, let's talk about UNLV, Wyoming. There's nothing sexy about them.
Right. Speaking of Vanderbilt, what do you think about Vanderbilt, Bama? Does Vanderbilt have a shot to win 2 in a row against the Tide?
I think they really do.
I think
they really do.
I think Diego Pavia is underrated. He's what are his odds? Heisman odds. He's at plus 1,500. He could be a sleeper if they go in and win at Bama. He'll be top 3 front runner, right?
He probably would have to be. Probably would, and deservedly so, right?
Yep.
And deservedly so. There's nothing phony about this Vanderbilt team at all. Their numbers are rock solid. Everybody's got the big revenge aspect here for Alabama, and it might be the motive that they need to win this football game. I hope it's not, but it might be. But if you put tape over the names of these teams and you're looking at teams statistically and their body of work, Vanderbilt is dead even with Alabama as far as the stats are concerned here. Yet you're going to be able to take double digits with them. I think it's a nice value dog here.
I'm a little shocked that Vandy's still kind of keeping up the pace from last year. Like, you took a team by surprise last year. So this year people are like, you know what? Hold on. These guys beat Alabama. They went on the road upset. We got to take them serious. But yet here they are. I mean, are they really ranked 6th in the country? They're a top.
They're getting their just rewards, Sean. And kudos to them.
They're winning. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You're winning.
And Clark Lee showing why he was the SEC Coach of the Year last year.
Not missing a beat.
No, not missing a beat at all. And he keeps his up. He'll end up being College Football Coach of the Year. That went to Signetti at Indiana last year for the great job he did, and he's doing another masterful job. But what are you going to do if Vanderbilt runs the table here? Where does that position Clark Lee into the race there? It's going to be right near the head of the pack.
Absolutely. And what kind of you mentioned the revenge factor for Bama. Yes, that's a big factor, but what about they're kind of in a letdown spot after Georgia last week, right? So I don't know what kind of Bama team you're going to get. You're going to get one that's fired up for revenge or one that comes out a little flat after that Georgia game.
Well, that's a good question because, if you call it revenge and you want to take revenge out all into itself, you usually don't want to have anything else encumbering the game, like a situation after Georgia, situations like that. It's not a clean-cut revenge football game, but you still have to know that in the back of their mind, that was a disgraceful loss, 23.5-point favorites. They lose the football game outright. It cost them dearly, and I'm sure Kalen DeBoer will want to make amends for something like that. But I still you have to do the numbers. You have to look at what's in front of you and the way they're playing, not what you're expecting as far as a slap in the face with revenge is concerned, because who is Alabama playing here? Who's a better team that Alabama's played so far than Vanderbilt this football season?
It's Florida State, and they lost to them.
Are they? Yeah. That's.
Yeah, Florida State lost to Virginia last week. How good is Florida State?
Yep.
I don't know.
No,
That's what
right.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a 10-point, you're a 15, 17-point favorite, Alabama. You lose, the line was flipped, you lose by 17.
Yep.
Well, I'll say this one thing for Alabama in their favor, though, guys. I tear these stats apart religiously, especially in our statistical newsletter, our midweek alert. And Bama has held all 4 opponents they played this year to season low yardage, which is a trait that Nick Saban had in his years at Alabama when he won every year after year after year. It's because they were the top 1 or 2 teams in the country and holding opponents to season low yards. And that's what they're doing this year. I don't think it jumps off the page because the loss they had to Florida State, but the 382 yards Florida State had in that football game is their season low for the season here. So, if they hold Vanderbilt to a season low here and continue that trend, let me look this number up here, Matt. Let me ask you if these yards will be enough for Vanderbilt to win this football game. Real quick here, Vanderbilt season low so far this year. I think it's not. Yeah, 323 yards. Vanderbilt's season low. Can Alabama hold this team to less than 323 yards? If they do, they're going to win this game, obviously. Yeah. But 323 is the magic number for Alabama to keep that streak alive.
Right. Yeah. I mean, one thing I was just looking at, looked at the box score from last week against Georgia. Georgia, got outgained by 40 yards, but they ran 24 fewer plays.
Yes.
And Alabama was held to 5.2 yards per play in that game. So I think a lot of it will come down to the Vanderbilt defense in this game as well.
Well, if it's going to come down to the defense, the one thing that's maybe lacking, arguably, is the Alabama offense so far this football season here. You throw the Monroe game out, that's a high school. Their biggest output production was against Wisconsin, who's really barefoot this football season here. Yeah. And they put up 454 yards of offense in the game. So it's not like Alabama, you're fearful of this juggernaut, this offensive juggernaut coming in here. I think it's more about being well coached and a really under-the-table defense for Alabama this year.
Well, I agree with
College football talk. We're going to pivot to NFL, but here are some games that we've covered during the week and here today. And we're going to roll them out as free picks, 12-10 plus 60 little baby dollars here with our free picks college football. Florida under 42.5. Miami, Florida -4. Florida State under 53.5. West Virginia plus 19.5. BYU under 47.5. So those are from some of the videos earlier this week. Me and Matt were talking about the Florida game. We like the under 42.5 there. So there is that. I might want to add any college to this before we ship to the NFL, or
I'll throw a sneaky dog out there at you guys who fading a very, very popular team right now. We talked about Texas spending more money than anybody else in the country other than Texas Tech. Well, Texas Tech is on this big time roll statistically. There's no question about it. But look at their body of work and what they've done so far this year. If you look at the first game, and I'm going to count these down for you from their first game for Texas Tech, every game they played so far. In their first game this season here, they scored 67 points, then 62, then 45, then 34. They, as far as total yards they gained, was 609, 601, 590, and the last game 484. They're taking a serious step backwards in every game they've played, and the reason they're taking a step backwards is the competition keeps getting a little better and a little better. It's what they opened up against the season with. They should serve 30 days for the opponents that they scheduled them. They just beat high schools, junior high schools. But I think this Houston Cougar football team, I'm a big, huge Willie Fritz fan. He's a terrific player as an underdog in his career. He's got a really, really good defense here. This is the place where if a Texas Tech is going to trip up this football season, I think it could happen at Houston on Saturday.
I agree. I had Utah at home against Texas Tech. What was that, 2 weeks ago? That was before their bye. And, I mean, they ran away with it in the fourth quarter. But like you mentioned, the schedule that they played is horrible. It's ranked 217th in the country. That's not good. That's not very good. And like you mentioned, Willie Fritz. I love Willie Fritz. I think he's a great coach. I had the over 5.5 Houston win total going into the season, and they're 4-0 right now, so that's looking pretty good. Knock on wood if I have any. I like Houston in this spot. Getting 12. It's up to 12 now.
12.5 at DK here. 12.5.
Well, those big first numbers that I read to you guys, at least the first three, they came against Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Kent State, and Oregon State. Who's going anywhere with those football teams? They might win a combined 2 games this football season here. So they literally chewed up on the Sisters of the Poor. Then they faced Utah, a good victory for Texas Tech. They were going in that football contest on the road to win a game at Utah like they did was impressive. But it was also their season low marks in yardage and points. And they're going to be going up against another good football team here. So for the show, put me down for the Houston Cougars, if you will, Sean, this week.
We got you. Plus 12.5 Houston.
I back that one. I second-hand that one for sure.
I like it. So NFL, I gotta say, man, for a league, I guess the best game is probably Monday night. There is not many sexy games this week where it'll be like, I gotta watch this one. Maybe Denver, Philly. What is like if Burrow was playing, you'd think that would be a good game. Detroit and Cincy. There's not a lot of great games this week.
No, we talked about it. Sorry,
we got Minnesota, Cleveland, your early game in England. We got injuries all over the wazoo for Minnesota, where that would be a great spot for them, right? They're already in Europe a week to settle in there. Cleveland comes in and says, you know what? Let's just throw out our rookie quarterback, and not the one everybody wants to see play. We're going to bring in the other guy instead to start here.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's a tough spot for Minnesota. They're missing 3 offensive linemen. I think 2 or 3, and Cleveland's defensive front is really, really good, and I think they're going to disrupt Carson Wentz.
35 total.
Yeah.
You know what the Cleveland Browns are this week, guys, going into this football game? This is a bar bet you'd win every time if you asked it this weekend as well. They're the only team inside the AFC North that has out-yarded an opponent. The only team. They're 2-2 in the stats. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore are 0-12 collectively in total yards and yardage stats in football games this year.
Really? That's a great trivia question early on. That's a great one. Wow,
So
I did not know that.
Have a drink on me, okay?
Absolutely.
It's the defense. Listen, Miami, Carolina, Dallas Jets. Someone asked earlier about Dallas Jets, Mark, and we're like, you know what? I look at that game, and to me, it screams like the Bears game all over again. Looks so easy to come in and take Dallas. That Jet team, I like the over, but the Jets 0-4, desperate times call for desperate measures. I can see the Jets winning this one. I haven't pulled the trigger on it, but I would lean Jets.
I would lean that way with you here as well. The fact of the matter is when they lost to Miami, even though Aaron Glenn had that deer in the headlights look all night long. That was not comfortable to see if you're a Jets fan. But what they did is they out-yarded Miami over 100 yards in that contest. And I love to play teams that do just that. When I out-yard you by 100 yards, I lose the game and I dog up the next game. Who are they dogging up to? The Dallas Cowboys, a team that hasn't won the yards in any football game themselves this year. I think this is a good spot for the Jets to crack into the win column this week.
Yeah, the problem with the Jets is they're -7 turnovers this year. They were -3 against Miami.
Yep.
And they even if you make that 50-50, they're 2-2 right now, probably.
They could be, yes, exactly.
They could be. I mean,
it up.
Pittsburgh game should have had. The Tampa Bay game, 50-50 shot. I'm not one to blame the refs and stuff like this. They had some bad calls there in that Miami game. Might have, hurt some momentum and drives from there as well. But they've been in it. And again, as a Dallas fan, yeah, I've seen them lose plenty of times where you're thinking, oh, easy win. They can take care of business. No, they don't. Like a fan of any team, when you think your team's going to win, they don't. They pull out the improbable victory when you think, no way they could tie Green Bay. That's not happening. They're going to lose and then beat the Jets the next week. Well, here we are. In this one. Denver, Philly, I think, is one here. Denver off the Monday nighter, Matt. I've yet to see a complete game from the Eagles. Right? I don't think we've seen a good Eagle game. And somehow they're still 3-1 ATS or something, too, to boot, and undefeated or whatever on here. I haven't seen them play a full game.
Well, you know what league they live in this year, Sean? They live in the same league that Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cincinnati live in. Philadelphia has not out-yarded anybody this year either. And you're talking about a defending Super Bowl champion who's unbeaten, and they still haven't outstatted anybody this year. I think this is their toughest game of the season they're going to face on Sunday so far. Yeah,
their offense just doesn't look right. Hurts, they're getting it done. They're getting it done arguably with their defense, but I think it's a tough spot. Denver hasn't looked good. Bo Nix does not look good. They're coming off that blowout win over Cincinnati, right? And
yeah,
but who cares? Like Cincinnati's what? They're trash. I think it's a tough spot for Philly. I think Denver is live on the money line this game.
I agree 100% with that.
Wow, you guys on Denver. I'm thinking to myself, this is a game Philly. You got a short week team in town, and Philly hasn't played a full game. Maybe this is the one they do it in. Especially at that 3.5. They're trying to trick me with that 3.5. I'm not. No.
Let me ask you this question, Sean. What is the redeeming quality about Philadelphia this season?
The redeeming quality is they haven't played well, and they're still beating and covering teams. So
sort of like Kansas City did in that big run where they were winning all those close ones.
Yes, and that's what I've likened them to. And we've said that before here. They're kind of just playing to play. But the difference is that they're actually covering games where Kansas City wasn't covering, right? Because Kansas City was, 6.5, 7, 9-point favorites and then winning by 3 or 4 late, trailing. These guys are winning and covering games, which is even more bizarre, getting outplayed. Right? I mean, that's the crazy part to Mark. Like you mentioned again, out-yarded, outstatted, and they're covering and still winning. I mean, forget about winning. They're covering, which is the part you think, hey, we'll fade Kansas City. They can win all you want. They're not covering. Nah, these dudes are actually covering the numbers.
200 yards of offense last week. Come on,
right?
man. 200 yards of offense. And they're defending Super Bowl champions. There's nobody who's going to tell them any different about how good they are, but they're soon to be exposed here. I'm saying I think it will be Sunday, but I think it's also going to be down the road. They have got to get their stuff together here because it's like a cotter pin. It's slipping right now. They're going to begin leaking oil here poorly. And they got to get this act together there.
Yeah, they had no business.
They have the Giants on Thursday night this week.
Well, it's a division opponent.
See, that's what I want to play. Because I want to go into the next game here with Giants and the Saints. I want to play the Giants at home on Thursday because I think they're going to lose this game 20-3 to the Saints. People think Jackson Dart. I mean, the guy threw for 100 yards and he lost his best receiver. The Giants can play defense. The Saints can play defense. The Saints probably could have won week 1. They threw an interception late. Week 2 against the Niners, they're right in there with the Niners. Seattle game, he had a couple fluke plays there that made it worse than it was. And I'm pretty sure with 5 minutes to go in the Buffalo game, they were like, the guy threw an interception, I thought, like late in the game, like where that they could have possibly won that game. Forget about a 10-point win or whatever it was for Buffalo. That game was way closer than that score indicated there. That was like a 21-19 game, not like 30-19 or whatever it ended up to be. I think the fate of the Eagles is Thursday night because I think they beat up on Denver on a short week, and then Jackson Dart comes home and they'll be catching a touchdown or whatever, and that's the spot where you fade the Eagles. But
I'm with you on the Saints in this game here, Sean. That's
right?
New York Giants. They are ecstatic about getting in the win column about Jackson Dart's debut, which was okay. It wasn't Hall of Fame.
410 yards.
Yeah, it was nothing ecstatic about that. But nice, neat little stat here about New Orleans here. Or about the Giants. The last 7 times they played games inside of a dome stadium, they're just 1-6 to the spread. So so they travel well normally, but not so much in dome stadiums.
Yeah, as a Giants fan, I was excited for them to put Dart in. I think it was a boost they needed. I wasn't overly impressed with what he did. He had that first drive, he ran it in. He's got the legs, but he and now without Neighbors, he's not gonna be able to push it downfield. And I don't want to say New Orleans is underrated, but they're okay. Do you trust Rattler though? I don't know. You have to rely on the defense, I think, for them to win this game.
I think
I'm putting out Saints minus 120 for the show here. Saints get the call.
Saints on the money line. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to like 2 points. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. So Browns 3.5. We talked about this earlier. Hey, listen, Mark, if you want to take Dylan Gabriel and the Browns plus 3.5, you got the defense that should wreak havoc against Minnesota. I took Minnesota a week ago thinking this was just a good spot for them being in Europe, where Cleveland's traveling from Detroit to Europe, and then actually next week they're in Pittsburgh. I bet Pittsburgh next week minus 5.5. Oh, coming off their bye week playing these guys. But I still sort of want to lean on Minnesota, but I'm not running to bet them with the offensive lineman problems. But I don't want to bet Cleveland either with a young quarterback. Because the other guy, as good as I love Stefanski for Cleveland, this kind of Minnesota can coach, Mark. I mean, again, I don't think we're going to use this one as a show pick here unless you guys really are on Minnesota. But I think it should be a pass.
Well, you have to give Cleveland their credit. They're due for their defense this year. There's been nothing phony about this so far. That defensive front is really fearsome. Myles Garrett, arguably the best defensive edge in the NFL, certain first-round ballot Hall of Famer here. And Minnesota is going to be sticking around over in Europe for 2 weeks in a row now, from Dublin to England. So that could benefit them. They don't have to make this long haul that Cleveland does in this football game. But what I like in Cleveland, what's happening here is this, it's being overlooked a little bit, this Quinshon Judkins, this running back that got himself in some trouble before the season began. He was a stud in college football, and he's beginning to become a force in the offense here. He knows how to find the end zone. That's what Cleveland desperately lacks because their offense has gone south. Yeah. And I think the quarterback change is good for this football program here right now. I think personally, you're going to see 4 weeks of Dylan Gabriel, then you're going to see 4 weeks of Shadir Saunders before they make a decision where they're going to go next year. I think it's all part of a pre-planned package, if you will, for the Browns. And the one thing I've learned about Gabriel from my contacts in Cleveland is he's a very astute quarterback. He doesn't have to be told twice what to do. He can read defenses as sharp as anybody. And once he's told he gets it, he gets it. And the kid can throw the football, too. He can deliver it. A little bit small, but, so too was Brian Sipe. So too was Drew Brees.
Brian Sipe.
Yeah.
That's a
Brian
good call.
Sipe,
Wow.
Cleveland Browns, yes.
All right, speaking of quarterbacks, we got 2 games here, Houston, Baltimore, Detroit, Cincinnati. I mean, Detroit's laying the 10 spot with Cincinnati backup quarterback. I'm not laying 10.5 on the road. I think we all know how we feel about something like that. But the Baltimore one is interesting because that was a 9.5-er, and now it's flipped to them being a 2-point dog now against the Texans. Who, you look good against the Titans. I would have been looking to bet the Texans, and I grabbed the Texans on Saturday beforehand, before the Lamar injury, thinking you're off a Detroit game, you're off a Kansas City game. I had them. I thought they were going to be Kansas City. I had Baltimore in the under. I thought that game was going to be like 27-20, and under kind of play there. They get their act together. So I was taking the Texans either way. Now, Baltimore's got some problems, and we talked about it a little bit the other day, Mark. And it was, not that you want the guy hurt and not playing, but on the same token, is it really going to be bad if you don't bring him back and you have a 6-win season and you get a top 10 pick with your team? I mean, maybe you need a off year like this to save Henry for one last go around, and your defense is that banged up. Let's not rush people back. Let's, if we're going to be out for 4 weeks and we got 1 win, what are we rushing back for? We don't even know if we're going to make the wild card. What are we rushing back for? We got our guys intact. Let's attack, get ready for the – and that's a stupid way to look because you don't know what's going to happen next year. But, Baltimore's a team I want to look to fade for the rest of the season for sure.
Well, they're off to their worst start in their franchise history at 1-3. That's kind of a remarkable statement because it's not all that bad. I mean, it's not disaster, but it is for Baltimore, 1-3, their worst start. And they do have a half-ass decent backup quarterback in Cooper Rush. He's made 14 starts in the NFL. He's 9-5 straight up into the number in those starts. The bulk of them obviously coming with the Dallas Cowboys. Mm-hmm. But what jumps out to me in the game is what the Houston Texans started out slow, haven't done. But the net bottom line here to me is you look at their body of work, they're plus 127 net yards per game in the stats, which is impressive for a football team. Of this ilk that people look down and see that they're way down, but 127, you win the stats 127 yards. I'm going to like your chances about every week.
You're doing something right. Yep. Which is weird considering how they got outplayed by the Rams. Yep. They came home and played a garbage game against who was that second week? The Bears, not the Bears. I mean, the Jacksonville game was 17-10. So the fact that they're out yarding, it's like, how are they doing that? How are they doing that one?
Yeah, like we talked about it on Wednesday, I believe, or Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day we talked about it, that even if Jackson was playing, you can't trust Baltimore with this defense right now. They're down 7 starters on defense.
Exactly.
So, you know what I mean? Like, even if he was playing, I wouldn't trust him. And I think this division is horrible, and they can still win it. They can. And that's the thing. Like, they can try to shut it down as much as they want or proceed to do, but they still have a shot at winning because this division is garbage.
We're approaching an hour here. Vandy, Alabama, Mar, we did talk about earlier. And you know what, guys? I think I'm going to add Vandy to the show here today because we all kind of like Vanderbilt. We think they're.
I thought we did. We didn't do that. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, we're going to add Vandy as a plus 10.5 here. So college, Vanderbilt plus 10.5, Houston plus 12.5, Florida under 42.5, Miami minus 4. Under the 53.5, West Virginia plus 19.5, BYU under 47. That game is tonight, by the way. We did a little video on that, so I'm just throwing those out there so you get all of the college together. Go ahead, Mark. I see you want to say something.
No, I'm what I'm seeing here is kind of like a lot of pluses coming to the show here. I don't know if it's just because I hopped on board and all these dogs, but I'm glad you guys figured out some of these live dogs that are in the card this week, especially Vanderbilt. I think they're a good live dog.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got here? He's got the Cal Duke game he wants to talk about. Cal Duke. And I'm going to say this, as much as I said it, Mar, if you weren't here at the beginning, we're talking about Dallas and the Bears. I said this looks like Dallas and Jets look like Dallas and the Bears. Cal Duke to me is Minnesota coming to Cal all over again. Minnesota, Duke's a little bit of a favorite. Cal's sitting a home dog. Wilcox as a dog is ridiculous. I think they're on a 15-5 dog run here with him. So sign me up for Cal here. Another dog. Another dog to come out.
I agree with you, Sean. In fact, if you wanted to put it on the ticket this week, I wouldn't have any objection to that, none whatsoever.
Let's go.
This big, huge cross-travel factor here for Duke. And, nothing says ACC like California and Duke. With California being the home dog, and Wilcox
10:30 kickoff time for the Duke guys.
Exactly.
I mean, my concern with that is Cal is coming back from Boston. They played at FBC last week.
Yep.
Come from behind win, last second win for them actually. So
So they're zigzagging, travel.
Yeah, they're well. But Duke, I don't know. I mean, Duke rolled over Syracuse. Syracuse had their backup quarterbacks first. So you can't really trust how that game to see how good they really are. But I was high on Cal this year. I think we might. Did we do an ACC preview, Sean? I don't know if we did or not. But I remember talking about Cal going into the season that I think they were 2-6 in the conference last year, but they had like 5 one possession losses. So I mean they were close. And like their coach, I think it's a good spot. I don't think Duke should be favored in this game at all. So I agree with you guys with the
Cal plus 2.5. 2 new subscribers. SF Niners coming in, and AUD was another early subscriber here. Thank you for subbing, and we'll jump to Niner. John, I see your comment. We'll get to that, and then we're gonna get out here and do these 2 last games. Blue Jays, come on, Niner. What are we doing this? Come on. San Diego State, New Mexico. This is a Friday night game. This is tonight. And this one, Mark, I can tell you, I like the favorite in this game here. I like San Diego State. Colorado State, boy, this coach, where's the offense he's supposed to bring from Nevada with him? There has been none. I like the Aztecs here, and that's that. I'll be. This will be a favorite play for me in this one.
You're talking San Jose State, the first comment in the game against New Mexico?
Well, this one here was San Diego State. Is it San Diego State and then, right? He said San Diego State and New Mexico. I just did this one first, San Diego.
San Diego State's played Colorado State. And
New Mexico, San Jose. I just did the
New Mexico.
Yeah, he's got a doubler here, but I just did the San Diego one first.
I got you.
You got an opinion on either one? You can talk about San Jose. I got no San Jose, New Mexico. I got
no history at all for New Mexico here. 7 games they've won. 1 they lost the money all 7 times. I don't know what's any different about New Mexico here this year. No opinion of the game to me, but I don't know why I'm going to hurry to New Mexico. Basically, what I'm saying.
It looks light for as bad as New Mexico has been, though.
Yeah, I think the new coach they have, was it Jason Eck? I think his name is. He came from Idaho, came from an FCS program, but I think he's changing the culture. Like the way they played against Michigan, maybe Michigan didn't bring it all to the table. Maybe they're playing vanilla for a reason. I don't know. San Jose State's just been disappointing this year. They were supposed to contend in the Mountain West, and they just haven't played well. So I like the short dog with New Mexico. And for the other game, I mean, Colorado State, Norvell's seat is on the line. They have to win this game. I think he's fired after tonight if they lose this game. And I mean, San Diego State, they held Northern Illinois to 3 points last week. They pitched 2 other shutouts. They've allowed 3 points in 3 of their games. This defense is legit. And under a touchdown, sign me up with the Aztecs.
Yeah. I mean, I know Colorado's going to, the Rams are going to bring everything they can Colorado State, but I don't want to buy on bad teams right now. John Putnam, last one here. Washington and Maryland. I want to take Maryland there because Washington traveling off the Ohio State game. I don't know. This is tricky. Like spot wise, I want to take Maryland. I didn't get to the window, as we'd like to say here, though.
Well, I agree with you. This is not a good spot for Washington. I think they had a lot they put into that Ohio State game. They had a 21 home game win streak snapped, and the truth of the matter is they were never really truly a threat in that whole football game. They hung around, but couldn't break through to at least even cover the spread in the football game. Now they got to go coast to coast against a Maryland football team that is showing a little bit of moxie here right now. I think this is a good spot here for Maryland. And you also take a look at the other side. Washington, last 6 conference opening games, if you are on the road, they're 0-6 to the number. So I'll stay at home with Maryland here.
I would have if this was a noon game in Maryland, I'd be all over the Terps, But it's 3:30. It's kind of like I would have liked it more if it was later in the day. But I do sort of lean that way. I just can't. Not a show pick. We got 8 college today. We got plenty of college football for you rolling out. Not a lot of NFL though, and that's even for me. I don't have a lot on the Sunday card anyway, Mark. Jets plus 2.5, Saints minus 120. Do you want to add a bonus play there before we get out of here?
The NFL football card?
Yeah. Like anything?
Well, it's not a real deep card. There's a game I like real well, but that's going to be my top play up on Gambler's World. So I don't want to really talk too much about that particular game.
Go
I think,
buy it.
Yeah.
Go buy it, people. Listen, you get Mark's day pass. Everything. It's 50% off for the entire day for the guy.
Yeah, how nice is that? That's a pretty good deal. But if I threw something out there, it would probably be New Orleans, who we talked about earlier on in the show. I think this is a real good spot for them, for a bad team to come alive. I don't know if bad teams ever come alive, but they can at least maybe think they're a better team. But that would be the NFL side that I would side to give the people on the show, New Orleans.
There you go. We got New Orleans minus 120, the Jets plus 2.5. NFL picks from Marc Lawrence and Matt Fargo, he's probably going pumped up. He's probably going to start tailgating for the Blue Jay game right now. Who knows? He's crazy Canadian, so he's ready to go. College football, though, we loaded you up. Friday night game, under BYU 47.5, West Virginia plus 19.5. That was a free pick video earlier in the week, but I'll save you the time since you came in, you hit the like button, you subscribe to the channel. I'll give you all to them right now. Florida State under 53.5 and Miami minus 4. And then today's show picks here, adding to those under Florida 42.5, Houston plus 12.5, Vanderbilt plus 10.5, Cal plus 2.5. Some dogs on a Friday. We got changes to the dog show or something. We got to have I wonder if we could add a little sound effects to the channel. Have a little barking dogs when we come in. We got to have a little button for barking dogs on the show, Mark. Listen, thanks for coming in today. As always, everybody in the chat, thank you for the comments. Notification bells on so you know each and every day. Free pick videos 7 days a week. Live show here on Friday. You don't want to miss out. Gamblers World for all of our top plays, best bets, Mark's best bets, mine best bets. Head to gamblersworld.net. The half price all day pass in effect for the weekend. There you go. It's half price. You know why? We're going to make you we'll double your money there easily. And then you go buy full size candy bars for the kids for Halloween. There you go. That's how. Everybody's happy. The children are happy. The wife's happy. You got her something. You got her a purse. I don't know. Do something nice.
But the word spreads real fast, Sean, on those houses that are passing out full size.
Oh yeah.
Full.
I remember as a kid, full bars are over on Browning. Get over there. You're running around looking for the full bars. I didn't miss out on them. You can still tell I'm a full bar kind of guy. Yeah. No bite size for me. But, all right, Mark. Have a good weekend, everybody. Thank you for watching. We're out of here.
Hey, good luck, Sean, this weekend. Sean, have a great week, okay?
You too.
Thanks, Matt.